never ceases to amaze me how the Bible has all these little gems in it. Sometimes you wonder why this story was included or that story wasn't included. And sometimes why this line is there, why we even hear mention that Peter's mother-in-law was sick. Jesus cured lots of people. Why her? But you hear the story, Jesus goes to Peter's house and his mother-in-law is sick. Jesus lays hands on her and cures her, and she gets up and starts working again. Some things don't change over years. If it was a guy, he'd be laying there, I'm so tired and exhausted. But she keeps on serving him, and so many people are impressed by the fact that Jesus worked that miracle that they started showing up at the door. Word got out in the town, and they're all there, and they said, Jesus, heal my sister. She's sick. Jesus, heal my dad. He's got this limp. Jesus, my nephew is deaf. Can you please lay your hands on him and heal him? And they kept doing it and doing it, and Jesus got tired. He was human after all. And when all was done and he healed everybody, he went off to a deserted place to pray, which he was often wont to do. When he was looking to God to tell him, God the Father to tell him, what do you want me to do next? And all of a sudden people are looking around for him. Where'd he go? Did he leave town? And they find him, and another huge crowd gathers around him. And I think even the apostles probably were pressing him, stay here. There's lots of work to be done. And the people really appreciate you. Some of the other towns, they're criticizing you all the time. We love you. And if he had stayed there, it would have been the comfortable thing to do. He would have had it nice. People would have brought him food. They may have even made him king. But Jesus knew that that was not what God the Father wanted him to do. Not to do the easy thing. But it's so easy to get distracted. The devil has this great gift of distracting us. Look, a shiny object. Or, look, a squirrel. He knows how to take us off of track, off of what's important. I got up at like 5 o'clock this morning, and I was almost late for Mass at 9 o'clock. Because I got up and I started looking. I thought, I got to work on my homily. And then I thought, well, I heard about this news service. I wonder if it's really as impartial as they say they are. And I started zooming that, and I ran into this other story about this. And all of a sudden, 2 hours is gone. And I hadn't even said my morning prayers yet. It's so easy for the devil to distract us, even when we think we're doing something good. Oh, I should really read this book. I've been thinking about it for a long time, or I want to watch the news. But what is God really calling us to do? It's not that some of the things we're doing aren't good, but is there something better, something more important, something more in mission with God's plan? Jesus could have done a lot of good in the town that he stayed in, but that wasn't what God wanted. God wanted him to go and spread the news, sow seeds all over the land. But the devil tried to distract him through this crowd, just as the devil tried to distract the people in the first reading, saying, oh yeah, I was baptized by Apollos. Oh yeah, well, I was baptized by this person or that person. And Paul said, it doesn't matter who baptized you. In whose name were you baptized? Don't get distracted by the little things, the things that don't mean anything. I had a friend who was in seminary with me. We would have been in the same graduating class. He was so deeply spiritual. He's just unbelievable. You would say something to him about, oh, I read this great quote by St. Teresa of Lisieux. Really? What was it? And you would go into his room, and there it would be written on a wall on a magic marker on a piece of paper. By the end of the semester, his whole wall, the whole room was decorated with little quotes from saints or spiritual sayings. And every semester, he'd start all over again. Whenever he discerned that God wasn't calling him to the diocesan priesthood, he joined a religious order out in Omaha, Nebraska. It was called Intercessors of the Lambs. And the interesting thing for them, their whole ministry, their whole charism was devoted to praying for other people. But when you called them and said, Lord, or say, Father, would you pray for my my son, he has an alcohol addiction. They wouldn't immediately pray for the addiction. They would start to pray and ask God first, how do you want us to pray? So that they would keep focused not on what the devil wanted them to focus on, the addiction, but maybe the thing that was the underlying problem, that maybe he had a very deep hurt in his life that he couldn't get over and he was trying to forget that hurt. God knows how to focus us on what's important, but we have to do what Father Mac used to say all the time. Keep the main thing, the main thing. And the main thing is drawing others closer to Christ by everything that we do, everything we say, and ultimately who we are.